Another homer. No.
All right, everybody. It is another Tuesday night in the year of our Lord 2025, and you know what that means. It means we are live and late. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.WeLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast tag team champions of the world, the Cleat Geek, Mike Valentine, and my buddy Cheese. And between us, we are the 643 and out guys, and you're listening to the Sportz Truth. Oh, Cheese. I don't know about you, but it's been a week, man. How has your week been?
It's been a very good week. I'm having a good week. You got a lot going on. You are a very busy person. You have your job. You have Locked On Diamondbacks. If you're a Diamondbacks fan, check that out. You do daily videos pretty much, right?
Yes, every day. It's Monday through Friday, a half hour Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. So you're a busy guy. So, yeah, I've had a good week so far. But, yeah, been looking forward to this podcast. We got some great topics to talk about tonight.
We do. I agree with that. Cheese, does the mic sound better there or the other way? This way? Because I'm still messing with stuff now. So is it better this way or better this way?
The second one.
So the one we got right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. That helps me out a lot. See, I actually have people on the other end that can tell me if it sounds good or not. Everybody else, I'm just talking to myself. So, all right, buddy. But yes, very, very busy, and I appreciate you being with me, but you're busy too. I mean, it's not like you don't write for a Packers website or anything like that. What's that website called again?
It's called PackersTalk.com, Packers with an S. And I write a weekly article published on Monday, so you can go there and check it out. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, where we talk about college football, we talk about NFL, focus on the NFL draft. So make sure you check that out.
All right. Now, for everybody's, some of you are not going to be sad about this at all, but we are. We were on late. It's my fault. I apologize. But we're going to cut the college football segment out of this particular one. We're just going to do NFL and MLB. But we've got to do the Blazing Five here in a moment. That's what Colin calls it. We ain't going to call it that. We're going to call it the first Flamin' 5 and 5. Not that Cheese is, flaming or anything, but we might catch him on fire before the end of the segment. So we'll have to see how that works.
I'm not a Minnesota Viking male cheerleader. No.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's just get, we're only going to be on here for like an hour and a half or so, and you're going to get us kicked off of YouTube in the first 5 seconds. That's great, Chief. All right. All right. So before we go any further, though, let's do what we always do in the beginning. Let's do the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I even missed my little slide and everything there, man. I'm trying to do all kinds of stuff over here. But we've already got one comment coming in. We'll have to get on that in just a second. And we've already got a bunch of people jumping on. So, I don't know. I guess we're doing something right, even though we're late. I'm going to cut a segment and everything else, buddy. We're still okay, I guess.
We have loyal people. They want to hear what we have to say. Most of the time.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad for them, but okay. All right, so we're having all kinds of good stuff happening behind me and in front of me and around us and everything else, but you guys are still sticking with us. So I appreciate it here. We'll go through the music here for just a moment. I'll watch behind me and make sure that the thing I want pops up. There it is. Look at that pretty symbol. All right. Not bad.
There you go.
Not bad.
People were waiting for that. The anticipation.
I know. I can hear
insane.
it. I can hear it in the background.
Yes.
I can hear them clamoring for it. I could.
Yep.
All right. I tell you what. Let's go ahead and pause on this music for just a moment here. Let's go over here and see what comments we got already. Oh, Ricky Logan has reposted the stream. He is really bored. So he's reposted us. We certainly appreciate that. And anybody else that wants to jump on and do the same thing, basically post us onto your social medias. That would be fantastic. It just simply helps out our channel, and we appreciate that a ton. Before we go too far, though, we've got to get everything all set up here, man, because we only halfway did it last week. We're going to go all the way this week. It's like it's like bad people at the prom or something. We're going to go all the way this week. So
you're the one's going to get us kicked off.
I know I'm going to get us kicked off, aren't I? Oh, okay. So we're going to do the first Flamin' 5 in 5. You're going to see a countdown come up on the screen here in a second. I'm going to give Cheese 5 questions. And we're going to see if he can answer all 5 of them in the given 5 minutes. I don't know. It's a challenge, buddy. We'll see what happens here. All right. So I'm going to read the first question before I bring the timer up because the first question is kind of long.
Okay.
Excuse me. So I think it's a little unfair to start the timer and then read the long question. So I will start the music, then read the long question, and then we'll start the flaming timer. All right, here we go. Chiefs. Last week, someone on this show predicted that the Mariners would win the AL West and the Padres would win the NL West. Both the Padres and the Mariners are now only a game back in those divisions. Are you ready to side with me on one, both, or none?
Right at it. Just threw it right at me.
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay. Well, the Dodgers have been a disaster. They're 12-19 in the last 31. I mean, that's among the worst records in baseball. They're like bottom 5 the last 31 games. So it's hard for me to. Yeah, I'm gonna side with you on the Padres because the Padres had the best deadline in my opinion. They improved the most, I think by far. I don't think any team really came close. So I'm gonna side with you on that. I am not ready to give up on the Astros. Although I just read their closer.
Mr. Hader today.
Yeah, Josh Hader has shoulder issues. Still, I really like this Astros team. I've gone and I've seen him a couple times this year. There's something about this Astros team. So I'm not what?
I said I appreciate the invite.
Oh, I didn't invite you.
I know. That's why I said I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, one of the games they played the White Sox, so they won easily. So that was good. But next time.
Okay.
But I think I'm not ready to give up on the Astros, but I think it'll go down to the wire. But I'm gonna still stick with the Astros. But I'm gonna switch and say Padres will actually win the West, just like you said.
Who will start?
You were the one who got it right.
Okay, you heard it here first, guys. All right.
Okay,
so
I'm way over time.
That's all right. Who will start more NFL games this season? Joe Flacco or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco will probably start the first 4 to 6 games, but they're just by far the worst team in that division. They're going to be 2-4, 2-5, or something like that, and they're going to put one of those rookies in, either Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel. So Aaron Rodgers, if he stays healthy, will start more games.
All right, so here we are in the first Flamin' 5 in 5. We're going to see if he can get it within the first 5 minutes. The third question, should the Rams fans be worried that Matt Stafford has yet to practice?
Anytime there's a back issue, you have to worry. Although he's had this issue before, but I mean, I'm hearing epidural. It sounds worse. It's possible, unlikely. Although, if you believe what some some crazy people they may get pregnant now apparently. But I think you have to be a little worried because it seems like, he's older now. He's not really recovering from this yet. So without him, I mean, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, which is probably a good backup. He hasn't really been a good postseason quarterback at all when he was with the Niners, but I would be concerned if I was the Rams.
All right, so we're going to do the last two questions here in our first Flamin' 5 and 5 as college football questions because we're not going to do a college football segment. So, Cheese, how many Power 5 conference coaches will be fired within the college football season?
Isn't it Power 4 now? I think it's Power 4 now.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pac-12 pretty much gone. Okay. I don't know. I'd have to run down all 68 teams, but there's gonna be some.
Hurry up.
There's gonna be some because you know how the SEC and Big Ten are. Everyone expects to be great, and so there will be some. So, how many? I don't know. 4.
4. All right. I like the answer. Should college football
3.73.
You might get this, man. You might get this. Should college football stay at a 12-team playoff or should they move to 16?
I was never in favor of the 12. I don't like it. I would like to move to the 16 if and only if the first 2 rounds you get home games. So the top 4 seeds, if they win, they reward the top 4. The top 4 got screwed last year in the 12. They don't play for 3 weeks, and that's a huge disadvantage. So you need to reward the top 4. So go to 16, but they get home games the first 2 rounds. So if they win round 1, they get a home game again, and then go to neutral after that. Done. And see.
I am so proud of you. I really am. Look at you. And you had like 10 seconds to spare.
That was tough.
Get our ugly pictures, but at least one ugly picture. I'm not going to say you're ugly, Cheese. I'm just going to say you're not very good looking. So let's put. All right. So if you guys like that,
I am very handsome.
Yes. I kind of like the Flamin' 5 and 5. We'll do that every single week here until you guys tell us not to, and then we'll do it one more week just because we're stubborn. So this week, Cheese did a lot of the NFL stuff for us this week. So I'm going to let you kind of take over. We're going to do the NFL segment first, then we'll go into MLB. We might cross over into college a little bit, depending on how much time we have at the end. But we'll see what happens here, and we'll just start with NFL. So, Cheese, hit me, buddy. What you got for us?
So we just had week 1 of the preseason. We had the Hall of Fame game the week before, but now every team has played a preseason game. Okay. So I guess my question for you is, are you really interested in week 1 of the preseason? Do you watch? Do you follow just your favorite teams? Do you look at box scores? How do you follow week 1 of the preseason?
I have yet to watch SummerSlam from like 2 weeks ago, the WWE event. I still can't get caught up on that yet. So I'm so far behind on a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do here. Obviously I'm keeping up on the Diamondbacks because of the secondary job that I have now. Got to work, pay the bills. That's what my wife tells me all the time anyway. I think that's the only reason she has me around. So I saw some highlights, but I didn't watch. Well, I take that back. We did have an event with my work to where we went to a restaurant. I'll plug it really quick because I don't think we did a real great job with that restaurant. So I'll plug it here on a national podcast and say that we went to Bubba's 33. I don't know if you have any of those in your neck of the woods where you are at, sir, but we have some of them here. Fantastic restaurant. And while I was there, they had the televisions going. So I did see some of the Bengals and Eagles, and I saw the Ravens and was it maybe Ravens and Vikings maybe? I saw the one guy get hurt really bad when he went into the end zone and his leg just kind of flopping around like Tim Krumries did, a few years ago, if you're old enough to remember that. But yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, that you can Google that. It's very gross. Yeah,
yes, you can go over on the 643 and Out Twitter page. It's there. because I watched it like over and over and over again, just cringing every time. But yeah, it was a very gruesome injury.
Yeah, the preseason to me is just not what it used to be, because teams used to play their starters, especially by, there used to be 4 preseason games. There's now 3. But even the second and third preseason game, you'd see a lot of the starters. You want to develop chemistry. And now teams are so worried about getting injured that they're sometimes holding out not only starters, but key reserves. Rookie, first, second round picks barely play because they have to play an important role. So the preseason just doesn't mean as much. And I'll tell you this, I had 2 friends this weekend text me about the preseason. And you know what they texted me? Both of them.
You have 2 friends?
I actually have more than 2. But
Ooh.
two were texting me about football.
Look out.
I have at least 3 friends. So there you go.
Well, good for you, sir. I don't know what that feels like, but good for you.
Yeah, we're counting bully. So I had 2 friends text me about fantasy football. They were watching a preseason game, and one of them noticed that a receiver played all the snaps with the first team, and another friend of mine was worried because this person didn't play a lot, even though he was healthy. So they were all asking questions about fantasy football. So they were watching to see who plays with the first team offense for their fantasy football draft. So that's what the preseason has become. It's who is playing with the first team. So it's preseason is about the last 5 or 6 guys to make your roster, because most teams know 43, 45 guys. They already know. So they just don't want injuries. Okay. So Shedeur Sanders, I don't know if you saw the highlights or have heard about it. But
it's really hard not to hear about Shedeur Sanders right now, sir.
Well, everyone's obsessed with him. If you did not know, he was projected to be a first-round pick, maybe top 5. He fell for various reasons. There's a lot with his name, Sanders. He didn't interview well, all that. Ended up going in the 5th round, but people are obsessed with him. It doesn't matter if he played good. It doesn't matter if he played bad or he was just okay. I think he was above average. I don't think he was great, but people are obsessed with his performance. So it reminds me of Tim Tebow, but Tim Tebow was the first-round pick. Tim Tebow was a Heisman Trophy winner. You're rolling your eyes, but seriously, every time Tim Tebow came out there, people talked about it. But Shedeur Sanders is a 5th-round pick. What do you make of this whole spectacle?
I'm honestly becoming a little bit more and more of a Shedeur Sanders fan every time I hear him talk, because he seems to say the right things. He's not trying to be cocky and conceited like I thought he was going to be. And I have a question that I'm going to throw back at you, because I was thinking about this the other day while I was listening to him talk. And I think that most kids leave their parents when they go to college. Well, Shedeur Sanders couldn't, because his parent was on the sideline. So he really didn't leave his parents until he went to the NFL, which is right now. So do you think there's I like him. I'm starting to become more and more of a fan of him. But do you think there's a growing pain there, like most people have in college, that he's going to have right in front of our eyes at the NFL level? And is it different in the NFL than it would be in college?
Very, very possible. It's a big family. He came from a lot of money. And if you believe the rumors, we're not in the combine interview rooms, but he came off entitled. He came off like, I'm a Sanders. That's the rumors. Like I said, we don't know. Apparently, Brian Daboll, the head coach of the Giants, really was turned off by him, and they went for Jackson Dart. So I'm a little surprised, when I heard that, but it definitely hurt his draft stock. So, yeah, you come from a lot of money. You come from a Hall of Fame father, and you've always been possibly coddled. Possibly. Like I said, we don't know. So I think it could have an impact. But one thing I want to say about his performance, LeBron James tweeting like Shedeur Sanders is basically already in the Hall of Fame. Everyone's talking about how great he did, right? For his stats look great. I just want to say this. I watched every single snap. I watched that game. Okay.
Okay.
He did not score in the first 2 possessions when I believe it was the Panthers. Starters were in there, right? Then when they took some starters out, that's when he started doing better. There was one play on the second drive where he had a wide open running back nowhere near him, and he just lofted the ball way over the guy's head. He was rolling to his left. He's a right-hand quarterback.
Okay.
It was a horrible pass. And that is intercepted 90% of the time. The reason it wasn't intercepted is because there was no one within 15 yards of the running back. If he hits him in stride, he runs and gets a huge gain. But he just floats it completely over his head. He missed some throws. But if you watch NFL Network and the media and talk about it, oh, he played great. He looks amazing. He should be the starter. And he actually really missed some throws in the game. He did make some good throws. But Shedeur Sanders is one of the players that he's a lot of experience. He will stand in there, take a hit. He'll wait till the last second to make a throw, so he'll take some sacks, but he'll also make some plays. And he's going to do fine in the preseason. He's always probably going to do well in the preseason because of that, But will it translate to the regular season? I don't know.
What if he does well in the second game? I mean, if we're talking about him this much, him doing decent in the first game, what if he does decent in the second game or well in the second game? I mean, is that all we're going to hear about? I mean,
yeah, that's all we're going to hear about. And, I've said this before on this podcast is Ryan Leaf had unbelievable preseason success. It's not about Shedeur Sanders should do well in preseason. He should. He's a good college quarterback. He's a very good college quarterback. He should not have fallen to the 5th round. I made a YouTube video on my channel. Check it out. About him.
What's the name of that channel again?
At Football with Cheese. You can see on the screen.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I never do shameless plugs. This is weird. So,
right.
But, and I may have mentioned I didn't really want to draft him. I don't want all that attention to come with it, but he's a very good college quarterback. And so he should do well. Really good college quarterbacks should do well in the preseason. But the regular season, we'll see. But the worst thing the Browns do is start him right away. Put in Flacco or Kenny Pickett and let him sit for a while. But it's more about how bad. If you do bad, that's bad. Like everyone with his talent should do well in preseason. He should do well. But if he does bad, then that's what I'd pay more attention to. Gotcha.
Now, did Dylan Gabriel even play in that game?
He's injured. So is Pickett, and Flacco didn't play yet. That's why Sanders played majority of snaps, because Dylan Gabriel was
Flacco doesn't want to take a hit, right?
He doesn't want to mentor. He doesn't want to do anything.
No, he doesn't want to do nothing but
play.
get paid.
He just wants to play. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, yeah, I'm with that. But, I mean, I know there were some other quarterbacks that we had talked about kind of off air you wanted to discuss. Who were those quarterbacks you wanted to discuss, Cheese?
Well, Tyler Shuck was a 2nd-round pick of the Saints. Jackson Dart, 1st-round pick of the Giants. They traded back in the 1st round to get them. They were also discussed. I watched NFL Network all weekend, and they showed a lot of highlights. And Tyler Shuck had a really good touchdown and a horrible interception. Jackson Dart had another great touchdown. They both have big arms. They're going to make plays in the preseason. But it seemed like it was all about Shedeur Sanders and then secondary Shuck and Jackson Dart. But they hardly mentioned Cam Ward, who was the 1st overall pick. Unquestionable. Any team that had the 1st pick would have taken him. So why do you think that was?
Because his name's not Sanders? I mean, I don't know. But beyond that, that's the only real reason I can think of. But, I didn't really think about it till you just said it. I was going to ask you if he even played, because I don't really recall seeing. I'm not a big 4-letter word guy as far as, it starts with an E and ends with an N. I'm not that, I'll go to the NFL Network and watch some stuff when I want to watch NFL. So I guess now that ESPN has bought them, I guess I'm not going to watch any of that kind of stuff, I guess. But
well, that's a topic. We'll get to that topic on one of these weeks when we have some
time.
Man.
But,
yeah,
he threw 8 passes. I am personally, and this is why you and I mesh so well, because I'm more the baseball guy and you're more the football guy. Not that you don't know enough about baseball to where we can have this show and vice versa. But I don't really get into football it's a little, it's a little unfair to ask me if I watch preseason because I don't even get into football until after the baseball season's done. And we're going to reveal when the World Series and everything else is going to happen here later on in the show because they just announced it today. But I like college football probably more than the NFL game. First of all, so I'm more into the college. I like the kids. What's the mug say?
Oh, this is my I like me. This is my high self-esteem mug. It helps my self-esteem. See?
Very good.
So I like me. So when I
excellent
drink out of it, I like me.
I like you too. You're okay.
I'm okay.
At least, one day a week for a few hours, you're just fine.
Yeah.
So
I'm okay.
Right. See, I don't even know what the heck I was talking about. I'm getting old.
So it's preseason, you don't get into it. You're more a baseball guy. I get what you're saying. I really don't start watching baseball a lot till after the NFL draft. I'm so focused on the NFL draft. So that's why we do mesh well because when I remember we talked off the air before I did a show and I think I messaged you and I said, I'm actually a baseball fan. I just don't really get into it the first month because I have to focus my channel on the NFL draft.
Right. You just prefer football over baseball, at least in the beginning. Right. And I'm kind of the opposite. I'll stick with baseball to the bitter end, even if the two teams that are in the World Series I don't really even care for. I'll still stick with it. I'll still watch the games. And then when everything's all said and done, then it's like, okay, now we're going to switch over to football.
That was the worst World Series ever last year. The worst possible. Anyway.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but maybe some of these big these big spending teams may not even make the playoffs. That'll maybe we'll have to have a discussion on what that will do with Major League Baseball, as it would with any sport. So, all right, we talked about the quarterbacks, buddy. I know you got some more stuff for me. Throw it at me. What else you got?
Well, I was just going to say Cam Ward, he went 5 of 8 for 67 yards. He had one really poor throw, but I guess it wasn't intercepted. But he was okay. Cam Ward's going to make some plays. He's going to throw some picks. He's one of those guys I think could lead the league in interceptions, but could be in the top 10 in touchdowns. Because he doesn't have a great offensive line, doesn't have a lot of great weapons. But it's just weird that no one's talking about the number 1 overall pick. It's almost like they assume he's so much better than all these other quarterbacks. I'm not totally convinced that, but I mean, he was the best quarterback in my opinion coming out of the draft. Obviously, all the teams thought so, but it's just weird that Tyler Shuck was talked about more. Jackson Dart was talked about more. So under the radar, maybe the Titans aren't a sexy team. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But
well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the chance to do this. We were going to do it this week. I think we're going to move it back a week. So we're not going to do a top 10 this week. We're going to wait till next week. And on the top 10 next week, we're going to discuss who we think will be the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL next week. So we'll talk about some of those sleeper guys and some of the the Shadors, and I'm sure Cam Ward's will be in there and Jackson Darts will be in there. But where will they fall is the great question, to find out where you and I think they will be by the end of the year, and if they have any shot whatsoever at winning offensive rookie of the year. We'll do that top 10 next week, buddy.
Can't wait for that. I may have already written up a rough draft.
Good.
Yeah.
You being ahead of the game and all.
That's the way I am. So let's talk about Jordan Love for a second.
Okay, let's do that.
The Green Bay Packer quarterback. He has a non-throwing thumb injury. He did it on the very last snap he played, and he had to have surgery, so he's out at least a week. So the reason I bring it up is Matt LaFleur is the head coach of the Packers. He did not play Aaron Rodgers in the preseason at all the last couple of years before Aaron Rodgers moved on to the Jets.
Okay.
But he decided to play Jordan Love in the game, and he gets hurt. Do you think teams should even play their franchise quarterback in the preseason? Because if you don't have your franchise quarterback, you're not a contender. You're done. What do you think?
This is a good question, actually, because if I am a fan of the team, right, and I go to a preseason game, I want to see at least my starters play for the first couple of series. I mean, we all know that going to a preseason game, you're not going to see everybody the entire game. That's a given already. But I think it really disappoints fans when you get there and you don't see the starters at all. How many? So I don't know if you know how many. You probably do because you're the big Packers guy here. How many snaps roughly did Love take in the game?
Probably somewhere between 10 and 15. I don't have the exact number. I just know he hurt his thumb. Looked like he hit a Jets player's helmet. And it's his left thumb. It's not his non-throwing thumb. I mean, he could, if it was like a playoff game or probably a regular season game, he'd play probably and just put a cast on it. But you want some chemistry. You want some reps. But at the same time, I'm a little surprised he played. I thought he'd only play like a snap or a drive or two, in the second game. So I'm a little surprised he played. But yes, if you're a fan, you want to see that. But at the same time, if you're a fan, don't you want your quarterback healthy? Like, and don't you owe it to the fans that keep that quarterback healthy? Because every team that's a contender, if we could go through like the top 10 teams in the NFL, if they don't have their quarterback, none of them are going to win the Super Bowl. It's just the way it is nowadays. So
yeah, no, I'll give that to you. But so I wonder if teams would go. I wonder if teams would do this. So I don't think you really are, but I'm. If you can see all the stuff behind me, right? You can't see half the room. But I'm a big autograph, the bobblehead guy. I'm a collector, right? So I love all that kind of stuff. That's why I like going to preseason games. That's why I like going to spring training games. Stuff like that. I know that when I go to we'll just compare it to Major League Baseball, right? I know when I go to a spring training game, for the first 3 weeks, I'm going to see the players play maybe 5 or 6 innings, and then it's slowly going to decrease as the season goes on. So if I want to see them play a lot, I just go to the early games of spring training to watch the starters. And as the games get into the tooth, that they get down to 4 innings and then 3 innings, and sometimes I don't even start, right? So, but what they do is a lot of them will sign the autographs and stuff before the game. So right. They'll give the fans something, right? They'll come out and sign autographs. And I wonder if the NFL wouldn't do that. If you go to a preseason game and you can get down to the field, pre-game, if they have 1 or 2 players come out and they're not going to start, so we'll have them sign the autographs. And give the fans of those 2 starters something, but they don't necessarily have to play. I mean, I want to get something for my money, I guess, is what I'm after.
I get what you're saying. Absolutely. But wouldn't you rather your quarterback healthy? if Kyler Murray plays a preseason game and gets hurt and is knocked out for half the season, would you rather him not play? I mean, that would be terrible for Arizona. Just devastating. Their season would probably be done, even if he missed half the season.
It would be devastating for 90% of the teams in the NFL and college, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably even more so in college, yeah.
Right. So I get what you're saying, but I also don't think, and maybe this is a better question for you, can you replicate games on a practice field? I mean, can you really get that feel and like as in a game when you're doing practice stuff? And if the answer is no, then I want them to play at least a little.
If the team has been together for years, the offensive line, the receivers, quarterback, much easier. Like the second to last year, Aaron Rodgers was there. He won the MVP, I think, like threw 45 touchdowns. He didn't play in the preseason, so it was fine. But obviously, young players, you have a lot of new receivers, new offensive linemen. You have to have the reps, so it's tricky. But man, I don't want Jordan Love hurt. I thought he played 1 series. He played, I think, 2, and he got hurt in the last play, the second one. So I'm not happy about that. Obviously, he's gonna be fine for the regular season. It was his non-throwing thumb, but still makes you nervous. So I think you need to be cautious.
Well, I think you need to be cautious too, but I will say this. I wouldn't put my starting quarterback out there without having my starting offensive line in front of him.
Sure. If there's some injuries in the offensive line, 2 starters are out, then don't put your quarterback out there.
There you go. And then you just tell the fans, hey, this is why we're not doing it. And I think as a fan, if I can get something explained to me logically behind a microphone after the game, like, hey, we didn't put him out, we had all intentions to, but this guy was hurt and this guy was hurt, so we didn't take the chance with that. And once these guys are healthy, maybe later on in the preseason we'll play them a little bit. But I mean, there was a big trend this week of a lot of teams playing their starters, right? It wasn't just Green Bay. I mean, I saw Burrow out there. I saw the Eagles quarterback was out there. I mean, I saw lots of different starters out there when maybe they didn't do it over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure analytics has shown that you need some reps in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of teams want to go ahead and do it the first week. That's kind of my theory. I don't have any evidence, but from what I've heard it's analytics has shown that it's good to get the players out there on the field. But franchise quarterback, it's different. Other positions are different. So I think you have to be really careful. And I wouldn't even mind if Jordan Love goes out there and hands the ball off twice and then just chucks it deep, rolls right away from pressure, just chucks it deep once and then goes out and never plays in the preseason again. I wouldn't mind that at all.
All right. Well, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers a couple of times. So I guess there was a certain player that's called Aaron Rodgers out, and now he's kind of being hypocritical. What's the deal with this, buddy?
Cameron Hayward, has been one of the better interior defensive linemen his whole career. He's drafted 2011, I believe. Okay. And he's 36 years old. He's just been really good player his whole career. He's coming off a great season. And he was calling Aaron Rodgers out early in the offseason when Rodgers wasn't signing with the team. We know why he wasn't. Aaron Rodgers wanted to travel. He wanted to hang out with his friends, and he was recently married. He didn't want to go to all the mini camps. He didn't want to do any of that. We know that's who Aaron is. He did that with the Jets the year before. He missed a mandatory camp to go to Egypt. That's who Aaron is. He doesn't want to be around the facility in the offseason. And Cameron Hayward should know that, and he called him out. He should something like, "Oh, if he wants to be here, he should be here." A couple days later, he backed off on it. I think the owners and the management went to him and said, "Hey, man, don't do this because he's going to be our guy, even though he hasn't signed yet. He's going to be our starter." Mm-hmm. So he was calling Aaron Rodgers out for that. Now, Cameron Hayward, longtime Steeler, fan favorite, is apparently willing to sit out regular season games if he doesn't get a new contract. He signed a 2-year, $29 million extension a year ago. Based on his production, yeah, he's probably underpaid compared to other defensive tackles. I don't think he's even in the top 20. But he's calling Aaron Rodgers out, who had never signed. Aaron Rodgers was not a Pittsburgh Steeler. Okay? So he didn't have to go to any of that stuff. He's under contract. He's threatened to hold out. I think it's extremely hypocritical. I think he's hurting his legacy. What do you think?
I will agree with you that it's hypocritical. I'm not going to feel sorry for any Pittsburgh Steelers since I'm the Bengals guy, and I live out here in Arizona, so I'm representing them as well. Kind of like I do the Reds and the Diamondbacks. I love both those teams. So I was basically born and bred on one, and now I live in another spot, and they're right here in my face. So I see them and do all that kind of stuff too. I'm not sure if he's tarnishing what kind of legacy does the guy have? I mean, as a defensive lineman, don't you have a legacy of being kind of nasty and being, just wanting to hit people and all that kind of thing? So just because he mouths off a little bit, is that really ruining his legacy? I mean, I'll give you hypocritical, but I don't know anything about ruining his legacy.
He's going to finish his career as a Steeler. He's 36 years old. He has been such a good player for them. And I know Steelers fans, and they love him. They love him to death. And he was late first-round pick. He actually was drafted the year after they lost Super Bowl to the Packers. He was the 31st pick, so the second to last pick of the first round. I guarantee the Packers would have taken him, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, wouldn't take back the Super Bowl, obviously. But I just know a lot of Steelers fans that love him. He's one of their favorites. He's a fan favorite. He has been for years. To play at that level at 35 years old last year is incredible. And now all of a sudden, he's never done this before, anything like this. All of a sudden, he's threatening to sit out games when they're all in. They're all in with Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. It's Super Bowl or bust. And I think it hurts the Steelers' legacy. I think it's going to piss off fans, and I think it's incredibly stupid. 2 years, $29 million for a 36-year-old guy. Come on, man. And I think it's incredibly hypocritical, and I think it does hurt his legacy. And it's a shame.
But he's 36 years old and he's trying to get paid one last time, right?
He's got enough money.
I mean, he's making 14, I believe, either 14 or 16 million this year. So I mean, I'm not going to cry for him or anything. But I also understand the fact that you're trying to make as much money as you're trying to make. I mean, if we had 8 sponsors on this show, and I would never come on here and be like, okay, we've got 8 sponsors now, that's enough, we're not going to get any more. No, we'd keep doing as much as we could do, right? So what's the difference? He's trying to get paid. I don't, you know me, and we've discussed this with other contract holdouts. I don't like it. You signed a contract, fulfill your contract, right? But I also understand him trying to get paid. He's been a really good player for a really long time, and he's been paid like it. But he's seeing everybody else. The word that I saw he used, he said, "I'm looking to be valued."
Who does he think he is?
But he's 28th, and I just looked it up. He's 28th. He's being paid like the 28th guy in his position in the league.
And he signed it a year ago. He didn't sign it 3 or 4 years ago. He didn't sign a 5-year extension. He signed it a year ago. And now he just I signed a contract a year ago. Now pay me more. That's insane. It's not like Patrick Mahomes is not even like a top 6 or 7 quarterback paid in the league because he signed a long-term deal like 3 years ago or something. He's not doing that. He could. Patrick Mahomes is making probably, I'll have the numbers for me, 15 to 18 million less than Dak Prescott per year. And he's not doing this. He says, "Oh, Chiefs don't value me," and I'm not a Mahomes fan if you watch my channel. Mm-hmm. So you're 36, 2 years, 29 million. You signed it a year ago. I just don't, to threaten with all that's going on with the Steelers, their off season, the Aaron Rodgers, it's a distraction that they do not need. And of all the people to do it, is Cameron Hayward, who's been there since 2011, fan favorite player. It makes me think maybe he made some bad investments and needs the money. I mean, he has to have made well over $100 million in his career.
But maybe the Steelers will be the team that will, I'm still not going to like them, but maybe they'll finally be the team that does what I've been clamoring for weeks on this show. They drafted his replacement. Harmon, I believe is his name,
Derek
right?
Harmon from Oregon, yes.
Yeah.
They did.
So
his heir apparent.
They could call his bluff, right? They could be like, fine, you're willing to sit out games? Let's see how many you're willing to sit out. Mr. Harmon, come right on in. Couldn't they do that and call his bluff here? Yeah.
And he loses some leverage. If they had drafted Emeka Egbuka, who I thought they would have, if he had been there, but he wasn't. He went 2 picks earlier to Tampa. Mm-hmm. I think he was their target. I heard that rumor, and I totally bought it. Then he would have more leverage. But Egbuka was gone, and they went Derek Harmon. And it was a smart pick. I really liked the pick. So it does. It hurts his leverage at getting a new contract. And what's he going to do? If they say we're not paying you, sitting out regular season games, it's just going to piss off the fans. So
right. And why did he wait so long?
It's almost like he waited for TJ Watt to get done. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to too. Was that did he wait and did he see how much money TJ got? And he's like, "Dang, on, they're paying this guy." And I think maybe that's where he got that word, because he said, "I'm looking to be valued."
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't say like TJ Watt, but that's the way I kind of took it, was I'm looking to be valued like the other guy you just paid.
I have one more point to make, and
sure.
I know we didn't talk about Michael Parsons. If you're the Steelers and you sign extensions with any player and the next year you just decide to pay him more, then every single player you give an extension to is going to say, "Well, I've outplayed it. You need to pay me more." You paid Cameron Hayward. And he's 36. I'm 29. So it doesn't look good to keep paying per someone every year, 1 year after making an extension. It's agents will be all over the Steelers, so they cannot pay him.
But that's 100% what's going on right now. Every new quarterback that signs a deal, it's not like the new one signs one that's less than the old one. The new guy signs
not after 1 year
than.
after signing, but not after 1 year signing an extension. Pay me more. Because what if they pay him more? He comes back next year and has another good year and says, "Pay me more again." You can't do that. 2 year extension, honor it. And I'm shocked that it's come to this with Cameron Hayward. I'm shocked.
All right. I like that, though. I like what we've talked about here a lot because we've got, do we start the quarterbacks? Why did this guy wait? What is going on with the 36-year-old guy? Does he have leverage? And, it's more than just what some of the other programs do, I believe. We got some questions here. We go through it with a lot of things. And, you as fans can jump on here with us as well, especially after you hear what I'm going to say about Micah Parsons, because we're gonna do hot take time here. I thought about bringing this up, and I almost did a special thing on it just by myself, but I didn't want to leave Cheese out on this one because I really want Cheese's opinion here. I think the Dallas Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons. And here's why I think so. Yeah, but let me ask a few questions here, buddy. So, do they have a chance of making the playoffs this year, the Dallas Cowboys? Do they have a chance?
They have a chance.
Really? With Washington and Philadelphia in their division? Really?
They have a chance. You didn't ask if they would. You said if they had a chance. They won 12 games 2 years ago. Now, a lot has to go right. Their defense was much better. They had Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And their offensive line, they went young. It has not worked out so far. So those young guys need to step up. They did use a first-round pick on a guard. They used Tyler Guyton, the left tackle, had a terrible rookie year. He needs to step up. So the offensive line has to gel. That would have to go right. Dak Prescott only played 8 games last year. If he's healthy, they won 7 games last year. I think Dak Prescott's healthy. They win at least 9. Plus, you've upgraded head coach because anybody's better than Mike McCarthy. And Brian Schottenheimer to me is better because he's worth at least 1 or 2 more wins, right? So they could win 10 games. They could. If I was a betting man, would I bet them to make the playoffs? No, but they have a chance.
So are they going to win more games than Philly or Washington?
No.
So that pretty much means they don't have a shot because they would be the 3rd team in that division.
3 teams in the NFC North made it last year. The Packers won 11 games, finished 3rd, and they made it. So, 3 teams can make it. I guess technically 4 teams can make it. Yeah, 4 teams can make it. But, what if 5 teams tie at 10-7, they win the tiebreak at 10-7? So it could happen. I don't think it will, but it could.
Okay. So do you think that this whole Micah Parsons thing is a distraction for the rest of the team? Because I think it's getting to be, that's all people want to talk about. Nobody, Cam Hayward over here saying, I want to be valued, talk about me. And everybody on the Dallas media is talking about Micah Parsons, and that's it. They don't talk about anybody else. You could have a rookie do fantastic in their first preseason game, and no one's going to care because Micah Parsons still isn't signed.
Yeah, huge distraction, unnecessary. He should have been paid early off season. Apparently, they were at one point somewhat close, and it just gets further and further away. Jerry Jones does this. He waits and waits, ends up paying CeeDee Lamb, Dak way more than he should. Absolutely ridiculous. It's all Jerry Jones' fault. And now Parsons wants out. Just an absolute distraction, total mess that did not need to happen.
So if they keep – see, I'm getting you all riled up over here.
I'm happy today all of a sudden.
So if they –
These players.
Just poking the bear. Poke. So if they keep Micah Parsons – do you think they have a better shot at winning more games? I mean, does Micah Parsons give them 2 wins, 3 wins? What's he give them?
I think he gives them at least 2 wins. I think he's a 2-win player. He's really, really good. he's.
But I don't think 2 wins is going to get them any further than what they are right now. In fact, 2 wins is probably going to get them worse because they're going to pick a little lower in the draft. So I'm building all these things up and saying, just trade the guy. And here's my
if you keep him, you keep him long term. So you have him the next 4 or 5 years or something. So they're just very few.
He's under contract for 1 more year, right?
Right. But what I'm saying is, there just are very few players, pass rushers as good as him. I think he's a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. And it's hard to get value for that. It's hard to get value for someone that good at a premium position. So while they're obviously, they're not a Super Bowl contender. They may make the playoffs, but probably not. So maybe they're better off, in the future if they make the trades, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe keeping him, that'll be better in future years, just having him on the team. It's just so hard. We talked about this Myles Garrett. It's so hard to get value for an elite pass rusher. He's not quite on Myles Garrett's level, but probably one notch down. He's that good. But you have a trade scenario. Do you not?
I do, and I want to ask you this before I give you which team it is. Do you think a team that's close to the playoffs would trade their first pick and their second pick this coming season, and then their first pick and their third pick the following season to get Micah Parsons? Or is that an overpay or an overreach by another team that's pretty close to making something big happen?
I think a team that's a perennial playoff team, I think they would give that up. I don't think that it gets it done. I don't think it's enough. I don't think Dallas would take that.
You don't think Dallas will take 2 firsts and a second and a third?
No.
You can restock.
I don't, because there's just so few premium pass rushers like Micah Parsons. Pass rush is so key. It's a passing league. It's offensive records every year. I mean, you got Baker Mayfield throwing over 40 touchdowns a year. That was unheard of 30 years ago. Like when Peyton Manning or Kurt Warner did it, was like the most amazing thing ever. And now, multiple quarterbacks do it every year. So I just don't think you can take that. You need more. And you need probably that and then a couple young players as well to even start.
But you can get yourself a whole offensive line for that. You can get yourself a whole defensive line for that. 2 first picks, second and a third.
If you hit on those picks, though, you have to hit on those picks. If you're Dallas, you can't draft Mazi Smith, defensive tackle Michigan, the first round like they did a couple years ago. You can't do that. What a disaster.
Well, they've never been a real great drafting team, though.
They drafted Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. I mean, they've had some big hits, but they've had a lot of misses too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But draft picks are unknown. Everyone's like, "Oh, just get draft picks." Yes, they're great. It allows you to trade up, down, trade for a veteran. You have a lot more you can do. But at the same time, to replicate a player that good, it's just, you're not going to get value. If someone offered me 3 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, I'll be like, next 3 first-round picks, what else are you going to give me? Because I'm picking 29th, 30th, 31st, late first round every year because you're a great team. Then right. I'm not going to get.
That is the downside of it. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not going to get a player, first of all, as good as Parsons. So I have to hit on all of those picks to even come close to getting the value for that one elite player.
Okay. So you're probably just going to say I'm stupid now, but that's all right. It's not like it's going to be the first time. So
I would never say that to you.
While we're on the air. All right. So my trade proposal was, okay, the other thing that I wanted to make sure that we got here was that you have to have a team that has the cap space.
Yes, because they have to sign him.
Right. They have to be able to sign him. So this particular team has $28 million in cap space this year, and then they have a lot more as the years go on. All right. But I have to throw this out there. If the Cincinnati Bengals have $28 million in cap space, which is who I'm going to trade him to, the Dallas Cowboys have $31 million this year in cap space. So why aren't they just signing him and getting it over with, right? So this is what I would do. I would trade because the Bengals, we all know what the Bengals are. They're a fantastic offensive team, and they're an average at best defensive team. And if they could sign all of a sudden, think about it. You sign Hendrickson, you put Micah Parsons in the middle. There you go. I'm not sure. It wouldn't be the perennial favorite to win the Super Bowl at that point.
Here's the problem. It's the Bengals. They're not going to pay Micah Parsons and give up draft capital because it's the Bengals. They're cheap. That's the problem. It makes sense. They could really use him. He'd be great in that system, but it's the Bengals. So you're asking the Bengals to give up all that draft capital and pay him. The Bengals are so cheap. They'd never do it. Like I said, he'd be a good fit. There are not a lot of teams out there that have the cap room willing to give it up and pay him. They're just not. So you have to find a team as well. The team that would be the best fit they'd never trade with, and that's Washington. They would never trade with Washington.
No, they would
Washington
not.
would give it up. They really need an elite pass rusher, but they would never trade him there. So maybe the Chargers. That's a team that really needs a pass rusher. But I don't know if Jim Harbaugh would give up all that. And they have the cap room to sign him, but there's just not many teams out there. So the Bengals, they're not even paying Henderson. I don't know what they're doing.
No.
I don't know what they're
The team
doing.
that I thought of, and I know it's the two teams that I follow, but the other team that I really thought of that could do it, they have even more cap space than the other teams we've talked about as well. The Arizona Cardinals could do it. They have a lot of cap space, because they've still got the young receiver. Kyler Murray's contract does not kick in, into its heftiness until like 2 more years, so they could pay him a lot up front and basically front load a contract and still be okay. So
I could see that. They probably have to give up a player. They probably have to give like Darius Robinson up as well. Dallas could use him. They might have to give up a couple young players as well, and a bunch of picks. That's just a lot to give up, but yeah, Arizona could really use. You got him and Josh Sweat off the edge. That would be really, really dangerous. And Walter Nolan in the middle. Oh my God, that'd be awesome. I kind of want that now. I want to see that. Calais Campbell. Campbell.
They got Calais. He'll play 1 every 3 downs or something, but he'll get out there and play.
Yeah, he's the Julio Franco of the NFL.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. There's a nice Braves reference for everybody. So I'll wrap this part up by asking you this, Cheese. Do you think there's any scenario where any team will actually trade for Micah Parsons before the beginning of this NFL season?
I think there's a better chance he's traded than Terry McLaurin or Trey Hendrickson. But I doubt it. There is a chance, very slim. But I think Jerry is so stubborn that he would actually trade him rather than pay him if somebody just gave him so much, like way over the top draft capital. But I think it's a chance, but I think it's very, very slim.
Okay. Yeah, there's, so you're saying there's a chance, right?
Yes.
All right. Before we get into our NFL talk, I want to ask you one more question because I want to see, I sent it to you. I want to ask you, did you watch the video on Golden, is his last name, the rookie and what he did with his grandmother and all that? I sent that to you. Did you watch it?
I watched the day before. I had multiple people send it to me. So yes, and it was on Adam Schefter's Twitter. And yes, I did see it. And it's about 6.5 minutes long. If you, it's on. I don't know. It's where else it is, but Adam Schefter. It's on his Twitter. So if you have not, please check that out.
Stop plugging other people's stuff, man. It's on our Twitter as well. Okay, you go over to the 643 and Out Pod. It's right there.
You go. There you go. It's there as well, and it's amazing. And I'll just do a little preview. Matthew Golden, 1st round pick of the Green Bay Packers, wide receiver from Texas. His grandmother lost their family home a few years back, and so I'll leave it at that. And it has a happy ending. And Matthew Golden now has money to fix that. So
right. But at least he didn't use it on stupid stuff. He didn't go out and buy a Porsche that he flipped over or anything like that. I mean,
he didn't buy 60,000 in bling or something like some players do.
Well, now I don't know. That necklace he has on a couple of the scenes of that big old cross he's got on, I'm sure that set him back a little bit.
Not. You see some of these players that draft all the stuff they're wearing. You're like, they spent maybe 160, 80, 100,000 on that just alone. It's just like, think what that could do for charity or something. It's
True.
just crazy.
Right. All right. Let's move into MLB 4-pitch talk. All right. So we're going to talk about the Yankees, the Mets. We're going to talk about the first female umpire. We're also going to talk about the postseason schedule. And then we're going to wrap everything up with Cheese's baseball team, the Chicago Cubs. So, yes. So, Cheese, both the Mets and the Yankees are in a free fall right now. The Yankees are 63-56 in 3rd place in their division, 6 games back. They're 3-7 in their last 10, and they have lost 8 of 11 series since July 1st. I'll repeat the last one. They've lost 8 of 11 series since July 1st. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can hear you. Sorry,
right,
a few friends of mine told me to message them when I started talking about baseball. They're not football people. So I had to message them. They want to hear this segment.
Okay. So the Mets, on the other hand, they're 1-11 in their last 12. They are also 6 games out of first place. They're 26-27 against teams with a 500 or better record. And believe it or not, the New York Mets, with all of their money and all of their talent, are 25-34 on the road. Yeah, so both those New York teams are not doing fantastic. So my question is, will the Mets or the Yankees make the playoffs? You think both of them will? Only the Mets, only the Yankees, or neither of them?
I honestly don't. I don't think the Yankees are going to do it. There's so many issues there. They're a mess. I mean, they're a disaster. They're not doing anything right. It's that Marlins game where they lost 13-12. Just watching those highlights, it's just like the Yankees do everything wrong. They make mistakes in the field, base running. I think the Yankees miss it. I do think the Mets are going to make it. I do think the Mets are going to make it. I know the Mets had a bad stretch. They got a really hot Brewers team. Okay, they got swept by the Brewers. Everyone gets swept by the Brewers. That's just what happens these days. Here's a good thing about the Mets. The bullpen, they made some good moves in the trade deadline, and they're playing the Braves right now. So they're going to win a bunch of games this week because they're going to play the Braves. So I think the Mets make it and the Yankees miss it. What do you think?
I don't think either one of them are going to make it, to be honest with you. And maybe that's kind of the homer in me with because the Mets and the Reds are right there close to each other. Let's see, the Reds are only 2 games behind them. So we'll actually get to that here in just a second when I pull up some of these other stats. But if if I've got to do anything, I'm trying to get to a spot on my Twitter profile. And every time I get to a certain spot, it does something crazy on me here. It's probably the old man in me trying to do 2 things at once, and it's just not working. So I don't think either one of them are going to make it, personally.
You don't like New York, LA teams, so you're hoping. Plus, your Reds are the team that could catch them, the Mets. That's what you
want. That is what I want. That's 100% what I want. You are correct, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Reds are 2 games behind the Mets. Do you think the Reds can catch the Mets? Obviously, I do. You don't. Are you gonna stick with that? No, they can't catch them, and I'm going to say they can.
They could. I don't think they will. I still think the Mets make the playoffs. I think the teams that are in it now are the 6 teams. I don't know if the division winners will say the same, but I think those are the 6 teams. The Reds, I like the Reds. I just don't love the Reds. So I think the Mets.
I'm a big fan, and I don't love the Reds. I mean, I wish they'd have done a little bit more. I could give you a whole bunch of stats on them right now because I was looking some stuff up earlier. But let's see, as we do right now, let's see here. So in real time, the Mets won today and the Reds won today. So the Reds are still 2 games behind the Mets. The Mets had the final wild card spot, and the Reds are the first team on the outside looking in. So that's where it is right now. So I guess as long as the Mets continue to win, they're gonna fend them off. But
I think it's.
I don't know.
I don't think anyone else is in it. I know the Cardinals are, I think, 3 out, but the Cardinals aren't gonna. They traded their closer. They're not gonna compete. It's pretty much the Reds and the Mets probably for the last spot. It's probably gonna come down to that.
The Reds are 2 out. Like you said, the Cardinals are now 3.5 out because they lost today. Giants are 5. Diamondbacks are 7. So
Diamondbacks aren't. No, you know this. They're not.
Stop it. Gotta have some hope, man. Some of my other fans might be listening to this show right now. Stop it.
Well, I mean, they sold the deadline. I mean, the Tigers sold last year the deadline. They made the playoffs, so I guess
that's true. Yeah. That's true. I mean, if you look at the AL right at the moment, so you got Toronto, Detroit, and Houston. You got Seattle is 3 games, or Seattle has the first wild card spot. Boston has the second, and currently the Yankees have it. But the Cleveland Guardians are 1 game back, the Rangers are 3, and the Royals are 4. So a few more teams in the American League, and that's kind of why I really don't think the Yankees will get it. But I'm going to say the Mets no too, or maybe it's like I say, maybe it's more the homer in me that's saying the Reds will do it and the Mets won't.
Well, so you don't think the Yankees are going to do it? Do you think Boston? You think Boston's going to make it? They're ahead of the Yankees.
So let me go back to the standings here a second. So I really think the way this would end up shaking out is, as I've said, Toronto's going to win. Detroit's going to win their division.
Okay.
Houston will not win their division. Seattle, as I said before, is going to win that division. So that will put.
You think they'll both make it, though, right? You still think
yes, I do think they'll both make it. So I'll put Houston in the wild card. I'll put. Let's see here. I'll put Houston, Boston, and Cleveland, because I think in a weird way, kind of like when Devers left Boston and it kind of sparked them. When Clase got caught and left the Indians, I think that almost sparked them, and people were writing them off like, nope, they can't do it now. So now they're storming ahead. They have a really good. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. They're really good.
I was just going to say they have a really good. They're 8-2 in their last 10. All of a sudden they're creeping up there. So I don't think they can come back and beat the Tigers in that division, because that's a pretty big hill to climb. But the Guardians are only 1 game in back of the Yankees, so I think they can make that.
I obviously agree with you, Yankees. I don't think they're going to make it, but I'm going to say the Texas Rangers are the last team. I like the Merrill Kelly pickup. DeGrom's doing well. I think the Rangers are the team that gets in. I do think Boston will make it. I think those will be the 6 teams with Toronto, Detroit, Houston, Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And you know, the National League is kind of down to, like you said, they're down to kind of the Mets and the Reds for that last spot. And the American League is going to be a little bit better race, because you've got like 4 teams right there. You've still got the Yankees, and you got
Royals
Cleveland.
Too.
Yes, the Royals are only 4 games out. So Royals, Indians, and Mariners and Astros and all that, they're all going to be right in that mix together. So the American League will be a good fight to the finish.
And if the Rockies win out, they still won't even win 80 games.
Right. They'll still be in last place. Good job.
They won't even win 80 games if they win the rest of their games. Oh my gosh.
And I'm actually going to talk about that on I'm filming the Diamondbacks podcast, and we're done with this one. It would be terrible. So to me, it'd be terrible to be a Rockies fan, because you don't have anybody but Hunter Goodman. I mean, you know, I can't name a good young player on that team with the exception of Hunter Goodman. And at least the Diamondbacks have what I'm going to call a core 4. And I'll go over that, you know, as to who those guys are. And, you know, even if they don't win this year, I can see potential in them, and I can see them growing. It'd be terrible to be a Rockies fan and go, gosh, we're not winning this year, and I don't know when in the world we are going to win.
Chris Bryant deal's working out great for them.
Yeah, sure is. Sure is.
The core 4, I mean, I won't name them, but I think I could name them. But yeah, I'll check out Locked on Diamondbacks to see who those core 4 are.
Now, you just did an article on your Packers website where you talked about some names in there too, right? Tell me, what was your latest article on Packers? What is it? Packers? It's not Packers.com.
PackersTalk.com.
PackersTalk.com. Apologize.
So, you know, I look for trends. You know, if you watch my YouTube channel, I look for trends. I try to talk about stuff no one else.
YouTube channel?
I do. I haven't mentioned it ever.
No, you have not.
No. But if you watch my channel, you know that I try to come up with topics no one's talking about, trends. And the Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst, he has been the GM since 2018, and he's had 1 third-round pick, one that wasn't a terrible pick. And that's Tucker Kraft in the 2023 draft, tight end, which was a great pick. And they used a third-round pick on Savion Williams, wide receiver, TCU. It was a little bit of a surprise. And so far, he's had a slow camp. And it's looking like possibly another third round bust. We'll see. But the article goes over each third round pick he's had and why it didn't work out. And, but it gives some hope because he's very talented. So PackersTalk.com. Check out my article. All my articles released every single Monday morning.
All right. So I want to talk about the first female umpire in Major League Baseball, Jen Powell, P-A-W-O-L. Hang on, let me make sure I got her name spelled correctly. P-A-W-O-L, yes. But I believe it's still pronounced Powell. First female umpire?
I think it's K-I-T-C-H-E-N. I think that – oh, no, anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, YouTube. I didn't know this was going to know.
I couldn't resist.
Oh, man. So she was there on the 8th and the 10th. She was at Truist Park, right, in Atlanta?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yes. I watched her first inning as a home plate umpire.
So she's been an umpire since 2016, and she reached the AAA level in 2023. So now it just makes sense, right, that they promoted her. She's got her call, and now she's come up to the majors for a few games. So if you watch the first inning, that means you saw her first strike call. That was not a strike.
It was at least 6 inches inside. Wasn't even close. It was framed well.
It was framed well.
It was framed well, but it was nowhere near a strike. It should not have been called a strike. But I did look at her. They grade every umpire on every game. It was below average. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It actually favored the Marlins slightly, believe it or not. But she's not the worst umpire in the game because C. Buckner is still working.
Right. So I have her percentage and stuff right here in front of me. So she missed 14 calls, according to Umpire Auditor. At Umpire Auditor is the site that I'm using here. So she missed 14 calls and had a correct call rate of 90.3%. She was ranked the 13th of the 15 umpires that umpired that day. So there's room for improvement, but not last, right? I mean, it's her first game. I'm sure she was nervous. I'm sure that, there were some different things going on with her. So I've got 3 questions about women and baseball for you. First, are you all right with women being an umpire?
No, not really. There's no point. They're doing it to, oh, look, we have a woman umpire now. We're doing it. They're doing it to, show, oh, yeah, we're okay with it. I just don't think there's a point. There shouldn't be referees or NBA refs. It's a male sport. I'm not like, you can't do this, can't do that. I just don't think it's necessary. And I think it's done just to, draw attention to it. What do you think?
I don't mind the women umpire, but there are some things. That was going to be the second question here is the follow-up. There are some spots in sports that I don't like women at. And I thought I was going to sound sexist, but I think you got me beat. So I'm okay to talk a little bit here. I just don't like play-by-play people as women. And to be honest with you, a lot of times, the NBA's trying it now. The Yankees have a lady. I believe the San Francisco Giants have a announcer.
Terrible. The Athletics woman is awful too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't really care for play-by-play because I haven't heard a good one yet. Now, if I hear someone who is knowledgeable in the game and things like that, and they just happen to be a woman, then by all means, go ahead. Yeah. But I haven't heard that yet. So I don't like them as analysts or color commentators. But I don't necessarily have a problem with them doing other spots in the game.
What was that woman's name? Jessica something who used to do Sunday Night Baseball? Jessica Mendoza. Yeah, she was pretty bad. She wasn't like, oh, it's the worst person ever, but she was pretty bad. And she was a softball.
With Alex Rodriguez, so I mean,
Actually, she was better than Alex Rodriguez because everybody is.
Yes.
Alex Rodriguez has this thing where he somehow talks down to the audience. I don't know how he does it. Richard Sherman does it on Amazon Thursday Night Football too. Just talks down to anyone he's talking to, and somehow when he's talking to the TV, he's talking down to you, and I can't stand that.
Yeah, it gives them the almighty type complex or something. So yeah,
I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Yeah.
it's a talent. I'm sure it's a talent.
Yep.
So the goal of an umpire is to not be heard or seen. But today she outshined the players that were on the field. Are you okay with that? Because it was her, her debut, and then now she's going back into the shadows and kind of that thing, or should she have just been brought up to the majors and no big fanfare with it?
I don't think it's necessarily her fault if they draw attention to it. I mean, she's going to accept it if they offer her the job. So I don't necessarily blame her. So I just don't think they should have ever hired women to do that. But it did draw attention to it, and that's why they did it. So, but I would not blame her personally.
Okay, understood. So the MLB also released their postseason schedule today. If you guys didn't see it, wild card games are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, September 30th through October 2nd, and those are on those are on the ESPN platform. The channel that doesn't want to have anything to do with baseball anymore suddenly still wants to do their wild card games. The AL and NL Division Series start Saturday, October 4th, and run through the 11th of October. The ALDS is going to be on Fox, and the NLDS is going to be on TBS, True TV, and HBO Max simultaneously. When we get to the Championship Series, that will start October 12th and go through the 21st, and it'll be in the same as the Division Series. So Fox will have the American League, and TBS will have the National League. And then right after that, of course, the World Series will start. And I believe that's going to be on Fox as well, if I'm not mistaken. Cheese, do you have a favorite announcer or a favorite broadcast network that carries the games?
Every network has bad people. Doesn't A-Rod work for Fox now? So
yes,
he's the studio.
He's like the pregame guy.
Yeah, but he's terrible. He and Big Papi are both terrible, just awful. But John
Kevin
Smoltz
Burkhardt saves us.
Kevin Burkhardt, yeah. John Smoltz and Kevin Burkhardt, great. Absolutely great. Burkhardt's not my favorite. Smoltz is my favorite analyst. My favorite play-by-play is Boog Sciambi, John Sciambi, who does Cubs games, used to do Braves, used to do Marlins games. Redhead guy who, maybe weigh 350 pounds, but he usually does. I don't know if it was TBS or Fox or where he worked. I guess it was ESPN. Yeah, I think he does work for ESPN on the side. Mm-hmm. I wish he did it with Smoltz because they're my two favorite. But they actually used to work together with the Braves years ago. So John Smoltz is definitely my favorite. What about you?
Well, I like Smoltz a lot. I'm with you. I seem to like the pitchers. I like Smoltz a lot. I also like Oral Hershiser. I don't really listen to Dodger games too much, but since they're on the West Coast, and if that's like the last thing that's on, and I want to watch some more baseball, then I'll flip it over there. I like Oral and how he calls the game. And again, I'm probably being a little homerish here, but another one of the ex players that I like really well. I didn't like him at first a lot, but he's really grown on me. Is Barry Larkin. He does the Reds games, and I like what Barry Larkin brings to those particular games. So those are kind of my favorite people to listen to. But as far as now, one of them's passed away now, but in my opinion, by far, and to me, it's not even close. The guys who used to be the best at what they did would be, wow, I just lost Joe Morgan and John
Miller.
John Miller, thank you, for the Giants. Yes.
They used to do Sunday
Night
Night Baseball. It was great. When I was a kid, they did Sunday Night Baseball. I loved watching it. I loved their interaction. They had great chemistry. Yeah, I love watching them growing up.
Yeah. Also like Marty Brenneman. I like Tom Brenneman as well when he used to do the stuff for Fox. So now it's time for my shameless plug.
Tom Brenneman, when I was a kid, did the Cubs games when Harry Carey needed a break. I remember that one. He actually was with the Cubs for a while. Then he became the Reds guy. Yeah.
Well, he went to the Diamondbacks first, and then he became the Reds guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So shameless plug here. I'm working on getting Tom Brenneman on the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. So
my all time though is not Harry Carey. it is Skip Carey. He did the Braves for TBS for years. He is my absolute favorite analyst of all time. He's been dead probably 20 years, but I just watching him on TBS doing Braves games. He just got baseball to me, and he rarely said something I disagreed with. So Skip Carey to me is my all-time favorite.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Would you say baseball does it right because all of their playoff games are going to be on cable channels and you don't have to buy a streaming platform or go to something else or pay an extra $100? I mean, I was just really disappointed. I don't mind paying the $10 for Peacock to watch. I'm a WWE guy too, so I don't mind paying the $10 to watch it on Peacock. But now I saw where they're going to join the hated 4-letter word platform. It starts with an E and ends with an N. And they're going to make us pay like $30 a month, or we want to continue to watch these pay-per-views again. So I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to stick with WWE because of it. So does baseball do it right as far as putting it on cable channels where we can all have access to it?
I mean, yes and no. Yeah, your logic makes sense. The only thing is a lot of people don't have cable anymore. A lot of people only stream. What I'd like to see, well, playoffs are different, but I'd like to see teams, I don't know if baseball will allow it, pick a streaming service and you can watch all their games and just subscribe rather than get MLB TV. If you just want to watch one team's games, you can pay $10 a month only. Maybe Amazon Prime has the Diamondbacks games or something. Maybe Peacock has the Braves games. What?
They already do that.
They do?
Yes, you can just buy MLB TV just for your team. And I believe it's like I think it's $16.95 a month or something like that for the one team. Now, I mean, to be honest,
I have to see every game. I did the whole thing because I got to see every game, so I got to.
Right. I mean, it's not that much. It's
okay.
I pay for the entire service, and it's the way I look at it is it's like $199 or something like that for an entire year. And that's every team, every game. And we're going to plug this for a second. And they don't, they're not giving us anything. They should at least give me a discount on the thing or something here. But I mean, if
we should get it free. We plug MLB. They should give us both for free.
Right. So maybe they'll let us play their stuff in the background while we're doing the show.
Yeah.
But by the time you go and you park and you buy the tickets, especially if you're bringing like a family of 4, it's $150 for a game. I mean, why not pay the extra $50 or $60 and just buy the entire thing and sit in your living room and wear what you want, eat what you want, and drink what you want, and it'd be fine. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And I still go to probably 3 or 4 games a year just because I want that experience.
The experience, but yeah, you don't want to pay. I mean, beer, what, $12-14 a beer? That's insane.
Yeah, I'm not a drinker, so I wouldn't do that anyway.
Okay, but
I do hate to pay like $8 for a soda and half of its ice. I do hate that.
Yeah. Well, to go back to what you're saying though, yes, if you have cable, it's very advantageous to watch all the postseason games. So it's good in that aspect. It is definitely good, but some fans only stream, so it is difficult. But I believe the World Series is Fox, right? Yes. Fox has the World Series. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to the playoffs this year. I think it's going to be a really good race, and it's a race to the playoffs, and I think the playoffs are going to be pretty good this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I want to talk about a team that's getting healthy, and that's your Chicago Cubs. I'm sure you saw today Miguel Amaya and Javier Assad are both back off of the 60-day DL. So this team better than I do. How much of a difference are those 2 players going to make to the Cubs and their push to the playoffs?
Well, Assad got the loss tonight. They scored 1 run yet again. They keep doing that. They lost to the Blue Jays, falling further and further behind the Brewers. Miguel Amaya is going to help. He can hit. He's a good hitting catcher, maybe average defensively. Nothing great. He's not great throwing runners. Better at framing and blocking pitches, but he can hit, so it's going to help. But Javier Assad, he's back of the rotation starter. Javier Assad, if you look at his numbers, his ERA, you think, wow, this guy's a good pitcher. Number 2 or 3 starter. No. He's so much better at home than road, like 2 runs different in his career as a Cub. when the wind's blowing in, he's fine, But he was on the road today, got the loss. It'll help. It'll help the depth. Their catching situation is outstanding. One of the best catching groups in the league. But the Cubs, I don't know what happened to them. They stopped scoring runs about 6 weeks ago, and they just don't score. And the craziest thing about the Cubs is their biggest weakness going to the deadline was starting pitching. Starting pitching is really not their problem. That is their strength. Since July 1st, they have the best starter ERA in baseball, believe it or not. Number one.
Hey, you sent me over the stats on them. I don't know if you have it pulled up right there in front of you, but I'll give them to everybody here. So before and after the All-Star break, right? So wins and losses before 57 and 39. After, now they're 9 and 11 because you said they lost again today.
They did.
Right. Runs per game before were 5.33, and after it's 4.0. Batting average with runners in scoring position, which is very important, of course. 278 before the break and 210 after the break.
210 is horrible.
Yes, 210 is not good. That is, I won't say anybody's horrible, but 210 is not good. Home runs per game, 1.48 before, 1.16 after, and this one really shocked me. The stolen bases, 1.13 before and 0.68 after. So, I guess if you're not getting hits, you can't get people on base. It's, the old adage is you can't steal first. So, I guess if they're not getting many people on, they can't steal.
They have so many hitters that were having great seasons that have fallen off a cliff. Kyle Tucker, I do not know what happened to Kyle Tucker. He's like a 215 hitter the last 2 months. Like he stinks. He was terrible today. He just goes out there and swings the first pitch and pops it up. It seems like almost every at bat. Pico Armstrong is in a huge slump. Seiya Suzuki as well. Those were like their three core hitters in the first half. And what's funny? Their worst hitter all season was Matt Shaw, and he's by far their best hitter now, the rookie third baseman. And maybe him and Dansby Swanson, that's about it. No one else is hitting. Ian Happ's doing okay, but they're just not hitting at all. And their pitching is probably overachieving. I mean, I think they're – okay, so I looked it up. They were – right before this, they're 22 and 23 in the last 45 games. So they're about 500. So they're not a bad team. They're about average the last – month and a half. The problem is the Brewers are unreal, and they're still going to make the postseason, but they've got to, fix the bats. They've got to get Tucker and Suzuki and PCA going.
All right, but are you worried about them in the postseason? Because here's the breakdown, right? Milwaukee, Philadelphia, LA right now. Again, I think the Padres will leapfrog LA before it's all said and done. So the Cubs have the first wild card spot. The Padres are only a half game behind them for the second wild card spot. The Mets are 3 games. The Reds are 5 games, and we'll kind of stop there because everybody else kind of falls off a cliff. So, Are you? I mean, I think you're right in the fact that they will still make the playoffs, but being the 4th seed and the 6th seed, that's a big difference between those two.
Yeah, I think they're one and done no matter what. We talked about this before the deadline. Even though their starting pitching it looks good, like especially the last 6 weeks, they don't miss enough bats. They have, besides, Cade Horton's been incredible lately, but Matthew Boyd's had a great year. But they have a lot of guys, like if Jamison Taillon or Javier Assad have to pitch in the postseason start, I don't feel any confident in those games at all because they don't miss enough bats. They're reliant on weak contact. And when you're in the postseason, you're facing the best teams, and they can hit, and they will crush your mistakes.
Yes.
And you have to miss bats. And the Cubs have a lot of pitchability, weak contact type pitchers. And that does not work in the postseason. There are teams that have worse records than the Cubs that I think have a much better chance to win the World Series because of the starting pitching, because they miss more bats. So I honestly think this Cubs team, especially the way their lineup's going, will probably be one and done because they're not winning the division now. They're not catching the Brewers. There's no way.
No.
So, No way.
Now with Assad coming back, it looks like it's going to knock Ben Brown into a long relief role. And I think that will help the Cubs quite a bit because their bullpen has been a little susceptible, except for Horton, who has, like you said, has done fabulously well. Do you really think that the Ben Brown move is going to help them as much as I do? Because I think it's going to help them quite a bit, actually. It's going to solidify getting from the starter to the relievers.
It's going to help them because, well, he actually relieved Assad in today's game. But it's going to help him because Ben Brown's been more effective in relief. His problem,
yes,
I've watched him pitch. Somehow he's the guy when I'm able to watch. He's always on. I've seen like every one of his starts. Somehow he pitches when I'm able to watch. But third time through, he stinks. He really struggles third time through.
Yeah,
and
he's not the
he doesn't
only
have
one.
to do that in the bullpen. Yeah, but he doesn't do that in the bullpen. And he's got a really good fastball and a really good breaking ball.
Mm-hmm.
If you have two really good pitches, you can be an effective reliever. So I think it helps the bullpen. I think it helps him. I think that's his future as a setup man.
Yeah.
They need to stop trying to make him a starter. And I think the only reason they did is because they had the injuries to tie on. Imango was out for a while. Justin Steele's out for the year. That's really their biggest problem is Justin Steele. He misses more bats than any of their starters. He really does with his slider. So, I think Ben Brown, relief role is a good fit for him.
Yeah, like I said, I like Ben Brown in that relief role. You're not going to hear me like bang my chest for the Cubs or anything, but knowing the team as much as I do, I mean, he can make it one time through the order, and in a usual game that gives you 3 innings, to go one time through the order. So, he can even start the second time through the order and probably be okay. So I'm with you. I really like him in that relief role, and I think that's going to help the Cubs a lot. Actually, if he goes. If he gives them 1 inning like every 3 days or something like that, or 2 innings every 3 days, then that'll really help the Cubs as far as getting them to the bullpen. So last question here. We'll wrap it up here in just a moment. We're right at an hour and a half. We'll wrap it up a little bit early, but I don't want to jump into too much other things here. So being the Cubs guy that you are, sir, who needs to step up and play well these last 40 or so games for the Cubs to keep them in the wild card number 1 spot that they are now?
Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's I know he hurt his finger, but it was a finger, but he's not hitting. It seems like he's pressing. He's going up there hacking, and he's hitting weak fly balls or pop-ups. And the first half of last year, before he fouled the ball off his calf and missed a lot of the season for the Astros, he was having he was on pace for like a 10 more season. He was killing it. They need that guy. If they want to become a contender, they're going to have to score runs in the postseason. And Tucker needs to.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of hard to win without scoring runs, right?
They have so many games they score one run. They did it again tonight. Can't do it.
Well, I mean, and I know that again, like I won't clamor for your Cubs. You won't clamor for the Reds a whole lot, but I saw the statistic tonight. When they score 4 runs, they win 78% of the time, and when they don't score 4 runs, they lose a lot. So
yeah,
there's a fine line there, and I think your Cubs are in the same boat. They've got decent pitching, so if they get them 4 runs, they're probably going to win most of those games. But it's getting them to 4 runs, right?
Yeah, getting them to 4 runs, and they keep doing this. They lose 2 or 3. They lose most series these days, where they get 1 run, then 2 runs, then 8 or 9, and they win the 8 or 9 game. But they lose those other ones. They keep doing that. All of a sudden, the backs break out, and they hit 3 or 4 homers. They were not doing that earlier. They were scoring more consistently. They were hitting with men scoring position. They need to have more games where they score 4, 5, 6 rather than 1, 1, 8.
All right, sounds good. Well, buddy, man, it's always great to hear from you. I appreciate you coming on with us again, right here on the Sportz Truth, presented by the 643 and Out guys. We are looking at a couple of different things here. I'll just kind of go behind the curtain here a little bit. We may be expanding this some. We may be doing some different stuff. So, I mean, I don't know how much more we can do. I mean, I'm doing the Locked On Diamondbacks deal every day. I'm doing this on Tuesdays. My buddy Cheese over here has got his own YouTube channel. I know we haven't said what that thing is called all episode long. It's at Football with Cheese. And then you can also get him on Packers with an S, talk.com as well. So But we really enjoy this, and we think you guys are behind us too. So you never know what's about to happen.
Yeah, make sure you check out Locked On Diamondbacks, 30-minute videos Monday through Friday with Michael Valentine. And I've been watching him. You're doing great. That Zach Gallen breakdown was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You threw me a thing over like, hey, I want to see that. And then tonight, the one I'll be taping here in a few minutes, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly face off tomorrow afternoon in Texas. So I'll be breaking that down as well. And then we're going to talk about the core four too. So you think you might know who those four guys are? Let's see if you do. And then I'll put it all together for us later on tonight.
One of them, his initials are CC.
Yes, they are.
I want people to watch it. So, but KM. Okay, I'll just stop.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe MM. Do you know which one that one will be?
MM. I'm blanking.
And then GP will be the other one. We'll give initials. Initials are a good tease.
Is one of them a shortstop?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that's enough. You're giving too much away. And I see the steam coming out of your ears right there. You're going to pop your headphones out of your ears, so stop it. All right, buddy. Anything you want to add to the end of the show, sir?
Did you say GP?
Yes.
Oh, that's Perdomo.
Yes.
But I can't think who MM is. I don't know why. I cannot think of him. But anyway.
Well, he's not been there for a little bit. He's been on the injured list, but he's still, I believe, one of their core four guys. So tune in to find out which one that one is, the M and the M.
Okay. Just like I said, follow my YouTube channel. NFL
I'm sorry,
season.
It's G and M, not MM. It's GM. I don't know why I was saying MM for.
GM. Okay. Well, that changes things. I was like, who's MM? Okay. Just follow my YouTube channel. We do everything football, and we talk college football here. We didn't tonight, but we do almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
So watch this podcast. So many podcasts and channels don't talk about college football. I do focus more on NFL, but we do talk college football. So check out my YouTube channel, and check out Locked On Diamondbacks. Check out Mike's channel.
Next week, we're going to do the top 10 on the offensive rookies of the year, who we think will be able to be that. And then in 2 weeks' time, Cheese is going to work a lot on that particular podcast. 2 weeks' time, we're going to do a college football preview. And then the week after that, we will do a big NFL preview here on the Sportz Truth every Tuesday night. You know where to find us, right here. And like we always say at the end of every single broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.